5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
On the edge of the box is Madden. Madden trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there! Oh my word! What a goal from Paddy Madden! The Irishman strikes again! And is that the goal that's going to send Stockport County back into the Football League?
Hello and welcome to Series 9 episode, let me get this right, 25 of the Scarf Bagara War, part of the Talksport fan network, you'll be pleased to know. No Nick tonight, you've got me with my crappy introduction. It's not as funny as anyone that Nick does, so I do apologise for that. Try and make up for it as the show goes on, but I can't promise anything. So I'm Russ Johnson. I've been joined by my regular fan guest who's quickly becoming part of the furniture. It's Waggy. Cheers for stepping in, mate. Really appreciate it.
That's all right. No worries. Just the cheap Dave Philbin.
if you've ordered Dave Philbin off Wish.
AliExpress or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I would like to be joined by the voice, the tweeter, journalist extraordinaire, and all-round good egg. It's Sam Byrne. Welcome, mate.
Evening, guys. You all right?
Not bad. Yeah.
Good.
Not bad. Before we start, just a reminder, join our Patreon if you can. Become a patron. I think I've got that right this time. The link will be on the banner in a second. We'll try and work that out. There we go. Do that. Do like and subscribe and share, review, and all those good things, whatever podcast player you are listening to us on. And visit our Etsy store as well. There's some T-shirts on there. Some are like Marmite. Some are getting bad press. Some are really getting good press. But, I'll keep on designing them. Try and be controversial. Today, we're going to talk about Salford away last Saturday. Go into a bit of depth on that. I didn't manage to get a ticket. Waggy, were you there?
No, I couldn't get a ticket. I didn't even bother. Obviously, phone lines, chock-a-block, and I couldn't get down to the ground. So,
pretty much the same story as me. But Sam, I'm assuming you were there.
I was, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Ooh, right. Well, we'll get into some depth on that. We'll talk about obviously the big match on Saturday and all the trimmings that surround that in terms of players and things like that. And we'll get into that. And we'll talk a bit about the Johnny Vaughan video as well, because there was some eye-watering figures banded around on that. So that'll be interesting. And also, just throughout the show, if you want to join in and have your say, there is a link in the chat on this show live on YouTube. There's a link on Twitter. There's a link on Facebook as well to StreamYard. If you want to click on that and come on and have your say, you can. We'll spend a couple of minutes with you. Tell us how excited you are about Saturday. Are you nervous? Are you looking forward to it? Are you confident? All those things, and we'll get into that with you. And then finally, we'll finish on getting the Rezas, which is a new feature. So you've got to choose something from football that you want to throw in the Rezas, and I've got mine already tonight. I've got loads of them. I've got them lined up, mate. Loads of stuff about football I want to chuck in the Rezas.
I'll have to start making a list.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be county, by the way. It can just be anything to do with football. So let me just play a quick video and then we'll get straight into it. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, share and subscribe. And for the audio podcast, please rate, review and recommend us on whatever podcast player you are listening to us on. Cheers, thank you. So let's start with Salford on Saturday and the fallout of that. I watched it from Tanzania. I don't know where you watched it from, Waggy. Obviously, Sam, you went. What did you make of it, Sam? What was your overall conclusion?
Obviously, the performance wasn't great. I think based on the team sheet, I think it's probably a good result. And it's one of them where we were all talking in the press box before the game, and it got mentioned on Twitter quite a lot as well. You take even a 1-0 defeat based on the team sheet when it came out. But saying that you'll take a 1-0 and actually taking a 1-0 is obviously very different. So, it even though we could have been a lot worse, and having seen obviously how Sheffield Wednesday got on the night before, you just didn't want us to be out of the game heading into this weekend. So not great, but I don't think it was ever going to be great. You can pick holes in certain parts of the performance, but I think when you go into a really good team with one fit striker on the pitch, Jack Stretton, who worked really hard, but he was getting long balls lumped up to him and had 3 or 4 defenders and midfielders around him at every turn. And then when Tanto Alafi does come on, he's half fit. Ryan Rydell half fit. So I think it just felt like one of those nights where you just never really felt it was going to be our night. So having said all that, you do take a 1-0, I think.
Yeah. What about you, Aggie?
Well, yeah, it wasn't as good as we were all expecting. But I think if Crowsdale puts it in and doesn't hit the bar, it's a different game in it. And then it's also 50-50 if it was a foul on Horsfall or not. There's a bit of a wrestling move. So I think that could have been given either way. So I think that was. I'm not sure what VAR would have done if it had gone to VAR, if it had been in the final or something. But I think apart from that, yeah, good to get away from there with a 1-0.
Yeah. Bit lackluster, wasn't it? And when like you alluded to before, Sam, when the team sheet came out, I just thought, oh God, the only one real recognised striker. It sort of played to how I expected it to. And you're right. If Crowsdale does get it under the bar, they don't go up the other end. It's all ifs and buts. I noticed Charlie was quite pragmatic in his usual self after the match. Pretty much echoed what you said, Sam. I think, didn't he? Ifs and buts. You got to take your chances, and given where we were, some of these players that are out, then are they? I don't want to jump too far ahead into terms of this Saturday, but are they? Obviously, Rydell will be more recovered. Tanto Alafi will be more recovered. Is there anybody else that we can expect back who's trained this week? Do we know anything?
The honest answer is I don't know, because they won't really say this week, which is fair enough, because why would they? Doesn't mean I haven't asked. But what I would say as well is I have heard certain people saying, "Oh, that's some people done for the season, as in the playoffs." I think I don't 100% know this, but I'd say outside of Kyle Wootton, no one's 100% finished. I don't think. Obviously, I think it would be a stretch for maybe the likes of Paddy Madden. I don't know how serious that is, or if it is serious. But yeah, I'd say for definite, I think it's probably only Kyle Wootton that you can 100% rule out. Doesn't mean that people would be fit enough to start or whatever the case may be. But I mean, I think Dave Challinor mentioned, didn't he, on Saturday night after the game, that Alafi and Rydell came through there half an hour or whatever it was in the second half. Okay, so yeah, I don't know, but I don't think it's, like I say, other than Kyle Wootton, I don't think we can say right now that anyone is definitely a no-go. So fingers crossed, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, fingers crossed. And I guess we won't find out until the team sheet on Saturday, will we, at 11:30, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not, if they do a pre-match interview this week with Liam, I don't know if it'll be touched on. I know people will say, transparency, ask the questions, things like that, but I just think for the sake of, not telling the fans for 1 week whether one of your strikers is ready or not, I think you can wait up and decide there's probably not too much to be gained from saying if someone is ready or if they're not, and just, if we get through it and win the game, then I think we'll all be happy, no matter whether we've been told or not who's fit or unfit. So I don't know, but again, I imagine they probably won't dive into it too much with Challinor on Friday night if they do release an interview before the game. So
yeah.
I need to know from my fan up.
That's a first world problem if ever I've heard
of course
one.
It is, yeah. What's it in our leaderboard? I'm 2 points. There's 2 points between me and first place for team predictions for this season. So
really,
I need to know these things. Yeah.
Oh, and who's first? Is it Challinor's son, by any chance?
No, it's just in the the Scarf Bigara War League. Just the 10 of us.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I will. Right. Yeah. I will sort out a little prize for that, by the way, if you finish top. But only if you finish top, Waggy. Can't be finishing. No points.
Well, if somebody else finishes top, do they not get a prize?
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah. course they do. Second half though, on last Saturday, much improved, wasn't it? On the first half, but still just sort of couldn't break through, and I was fairly disappointed with that.
Yeah, I think it was improved, but I think other than Croasdale's effort off the crossbar, I don't think we had a shot. I don't think we had a few in the second half where players could have been played in, but the keeper got there first. So there was that one for Rydell quite late on where he could have shot first time and tried to run it into the box. But we just showed more about us, and I thought Connor Evans was good, kind of in between midfield and attack, trying to kind of link play a little bit. So it was better, but it was quite a low bar, wasn't it, from the first half? So,
well, yeah,
I think it was better, but it didn't look like it was going to come. And then you just thought, I think John alluded to it again, in saying we were going for a goal, but the main thing is don't go 2 down, because I think he said 3 out of 96 or something like that when they've been 2 goals down in the playoff first leg. Only 3 times have someone come back from that. So.
Yeah.
So I think with like 10 minutes to go, it just became like Salford were happy to hold on and weren't really interested in anything else. And we would have liked an equaliser, but we wouldn't. I think if it was a regular league game and we 1-0 down with 10 minutes left, we'd have seen a lot more kind of gung-ho trying to get balls into the box. But I think it was kind of a case of we'll try, but we're kind of happy if not.
Yeah. The interesting stat that, wasn't it, from Challoner to Liam? Yeah. Was 3 in 94 matches or something like that?
Yeah, it was something crazy like that, wasn't it? Where only 3 have come back from a 2-goal or more deficit. Obviously, we've got Sheffield Wednesday tonight as we're talking. I don't know how they're getting on, but just a 4 to come back from. But on the flip side, I don't think anyone would say Sheffield Wednesday would do it tonight. But we were talking the other night after the Salford game. If Sheffield Wednesday had 2-0 up at half time tonight, I'm not saying they're going to do it, but Peterborough may easily turn around and start thinking, how do we play it now? Do we still sit back and potentially go 3 down, and then you never know, or do they try and play on the break? And so it's never a done deal. And saw with Luton last night, they were 2-1 down from the first leg, so it's never over. And I think a 1-0 deficit when we've not lost at home since November, I don't think it's insurmountable.
Yeah. I guess the thing is, you kind of think you've got the advantage because you've got the away leg first, but in this case, Salford are good away from home, aren't they? So
especially on good pitches. But I mean, I was actually away for the Salford game at home, like a few weeks ago. But obviously, it was an absolute wonder strike that they got against us. Apart from that, I don't know. I didn't think they sounded, from what I've been told, that they're like a decent side, but did they actually really threaten us that much?
Yeah, right.
I agree. Yeah, I thought they were good at Edgeley Park, but it was like a half volley from the edge of the area. Unreal finish, but I mean, he was given kind of 5 yards either side of him to take the touch from a throw in and smash it in. And other than that, they looked good, but I don't think there was anything major that they created. And again, on Saturday, really, they had the goal, which I've still not seen it back because I didn't bother watching any of the Sky replays because I've heard what people had to say about that.
The commentary was atrocious.
So I've still not seen it back, but other than the goal, they had the one that Hinchcliffe saved in the second half, like low to his left.
Yeah.
And again, other than that, they had a few pot shots at the start of the half. So
that the one quite late
tight,
on?
Aren't they?
Yeah, that was the one quite late on, wasn't it?
Yeah. So again, but then they can turn around and probably say the same about us in a lot of games as well, looking good and maybe only scoring 1 in games. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a 3 or 4-0 either side.
No, and we have got, I think, the best against XG, the lowest against XG in the division. I think I've got that right.
Yes.
So teams don't create much against us anyway, and that's been the case all season. I think the one that sticks out for me, I mean, Swindon were pretty good earlier in the season. I think they created some chances, but Leyton Orient were probably the only other one that I can think of that really sort of tested us. So, and I think I might be repeating this stat from last week as well, but on aggregate, I think Liam said it, so I'm nicking it off Liam. On aggregate, we still beat the top 3, didn't we? On aggregate this season.
Yeah, beat all the top 7. Yeah,
all the top 7. Yeah.
It's because I told him.
Oh, did you? I'm not passing it off as mine, honestly.
Yeah, it's all
the
next
top
week
7,
again to repeat it.
Yeah.
I think it was basically only Mansfield beat us over 2 legs in the top 8 because they won 2-1 at their place.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah. But it just in the playoffs, it's one of them things, isn't it? It felt like typical County to be unbeaten in like 13, 1 defeat in 20, and then when you do lose, it's like that with when you've got half your squad out injured and a bit of a scrappy game.
Yeah, it's definitely got the feel of a season before you win the league sort of season.
Yeah, it's felt a bit like that because I think a lot of people said that, and I definitely felt it as well. Like it's not felt like I can think back to like 2007-8 or last season or 18-19, like, and think of like how good we looked all the time, and for 3/4 of the season, and it just felt like we were too good for whatever league we were in.
Yeah,
but we were good. It's been a brilliant. We finished 4th in our first season back in the football league, but it's just felt like we're that team that's like almost there. But in the playoffs, we could easily either scrape through or go through comfortably on Saturday, and then you in a 90-minute game, you never know how it can land. So, and I've said it before on social media and stuff. I think the League 2 overall this season has been quite low on, maybe not low on quality, but just low on teams being clinical and teams blowing teams away, and it's been quite a low scoring league all around. So maybe it has just been one of those seasons where there's been no clear. I know we were the clear favourites in terms of the bookies, but when you looked at it, you didn't feel there was a clear favourite for promotion or a clear favourite maybe for relegation. And then obviously that'll change next season with Wrexham and I know MK Dons coming down, aren't they? Notts coming up, so yeah, it might change. I think you do just get one of those seasons in every league at some point where it's just in a bit of a lull. But yeah, it doesn't mean to say that we can't go on and do it. Like I say, if we get through on Saturday, then you're in a shootout, aren't you?
Yeah. Absolutely. So work to be done. I think improvements needed. I did write some notes down while I was flicking between. Well, not flicking. I had the match on, obviously, but quite a bad night last Saturday, wasn't it? Because we lost to Salford, and then I had to sit through the Eurovision scores, which we finished second bottom in them. Pretty shit, really. So yeah, I wrote down here second to second balls, second to duels, and second in possession. We're just second best. Spells danger. I'd had a few by then, so maybe that's not completely accurate. But yeah, that's what I wrote down. So improvement needed for Saturday. On to Saturday then. What needs to change? And we'll just say now, Quigley and Crankshaw cannot play. So I think 99%. Yeah, I think 99% of the county population knows that now. The county nation. Sorry, Geordie Hatter. But there are the odd one that keep on popping up going, can Quigley or Crankshaw play? No, they can't. So yeah, they can't play. We've got someone lined up. We've got Worsley SCFC lined up, so we'll get Worsley on in a second. But yeah, Waggy, how are you feeling? Are you looking forward more to the courtyard or the match on Saturday?
Both, because I'm on it again. So yeah. So I'm staying at my parents', so I'll be down there for 11 o'clock ish. So I'll be a few pints in by the time the match starts. So then it'll be all right. But yeah, I think why not? As you say, we're unbeaten at home. They weren't that great against us. Didn't create that many chances. I think whenever I was on the first time, I said get that early goal and everything changes. But I think we need to, as you say, we need to be more aggressive. We need to be pressing them higher up more. And then, as you say, winning them duels in the midfield and closing them down, nicking the ball and breaking on them. I think we'll be all right because they've they've got Matt Smith, and that seems to be the only weapon that they've got, really. So if we can get at them, then yeah, I don't see why we can't turn it around. And again, it's a sellout crowd, and I think even if it is full of or half full of day trippers, then there's still going to be a good atmosphere. We'll get that going, and that always helps us in the big games.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because just talking about the crowd, I saw a couple of comments on the Facebook group saying that it's been a bit dull recently, the crowds, and it definitely was against Hartlepool, but that's to be expected, isn't it? Because Northampton scored really early. Before kickoff when we had the tifo that the Hatters 83 lads did, which was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a mention. The atmosphere was absolutely cracking. The wind got taken out of our sails really, really early on. I don't remember it being dull before that, so I didn't really know where those comments were coming from, apart from Hartlepool.
No, I think it's been all right.
I've seen a few comments saying it's based on our style of play, but in that I don't think it's intended to be our style of play, but in that it can be quite ponderous. And if we are struggling to break teams down, I think people have been kind of intimating that they get a bit bored or they'd rather go and get a pint before the queues get too big or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, and it's not my place to comment on that because it's easy for me to say while I'm sat commentating or doing whatever I'm doing. But at the same time, like when I was growing up, County were either getting relegated every year or in relegation battles or lower halves of tables. And when I was growing up, the atmosphere was always spot on. And it was always loud. It was always, obviously fewer fans in the ground. But I do think in general this season, maybe not in general, but I do think at times it's maybe, like you say, it is some of the more kind of day tripping fans that have rocked up in the bigger attendances. Not that there's a problem with that, but they're not going to be sitting belting out all the classics. And speaking as a county fan myself as well, I do think we have been spoilt a bit in the last few years, and I think maybe we turn up with an expectation to win games and to maybe blow teams away. And like I say, that goes from me included. Like we've had a team that's been in the top, 6 or 7 in the division or there and thereabouts for the past kind of 7 years. And I think we've become kind of, we're just going to turn up and win our home games and be entertained. So maybe we've kind of lost sight a little bit that the fans can make a proper racket when they're up for it.
Yeah, definitely. Just to very quickly touch on the queuing thing. There's actually, I mentioned this last week, there's actually a new service in the Cheadle End and on the Courtyard, isn't there? Have you seen this? It's the app to tap business. Sam, I'm not sure. Have you seen it, Sam? Have you seen this app?
I saw it on Facebook, or I saw the guys that are running it kind of posting the instructions of how it works and stuff. Yeah. I think it's probably going to take, it's going to be not teething problems, but it's going to be the kind of thing that takes a little bit to, just thinking of someone like my old man, he's probably going to be thinking, what's an app? Where do I start? So, you can imagine it's a good idea, definitely, and I think it will catch on if they can show that it all works as it should do, and if people ultimately are getting served and they've got a beer in the hand, then I think that's all that counts, isn't it? I think people will be happy to take it forward from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. It feels like it's working. It's definitely busier. I say busier in a good way. There was people using it, and I used it as well on Saturday.
Poured a good pint.
I did pour a good pint, didn't I? It wasn't. It was Saturday. Hartlepool,
no, Monday. Bank holiday.
Oh, Monday. It was Monday, wasn't it? Yeah, bank holiday. I did. Well, I used to work in a bar, Waggy, so you're going to get a good pint from me anyway. I'm not standing there for everybody though doing it. But yeah, I've got talking to the lad that does it. It's a Stockport business, and I think everybody, just it beats the queues. That's the main thing. So I'll say now, get downloading the app. It's app to tap, APP2TAP. I think it's available on iOS and Android. Get yourself onboarded before Saturday. Obviously, gets you quicker. It's still part of the club. Do you know what I mean? It's still in there. And
just for the cheapskates, you don't get your season ticket discount.
no, you don't. You don't. Not yet. So
Okay.
that's something that possibly could be coming. But yeah, get it downloaded before the match, so it's easy for you to do it when you're there. There's one in the courtyard, and there's one in at the end of the Cheadle stand, up at say 5 and 6 sort of end. That end. To get on there, and I've got it on good authority. If you download the app and you're onboarded by midnight on Friday, so tomorrow night, and we win, you'll be put into a draw where 20 people will get a free pint after the match on it. So there you go. So yeah, it's a
I'll
good.
get it downloaded.
Yeah, get it downloaded. Yeah. Have you not already got it downloaded? It's you're around. It's you're around on Saturday.
I was going to say I've not needed to because you've got them in.
So this Saturday then, let's see how this goes. Let's get Worsley SCFC in to see what he or she thinks of Saturday and how excited they are. Hello, Worsley.
Right, boys.
How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. How are you?
All right, yeah. I take it by your deep voice, you're a bloke because I can't see your picture.
I am, mate, yeah.
Right, good, yeah, good. Yeah, how's it going? How are you feeling about Saturday?
I'm confident, mate. I am confident. I think we've got more than enough to do it, and I don't see why we can't do it, to be honest. You know, we're at home. It's going to be a sellout. We just got to go for it at the end of the day, haven't we? We know what's at stake. We've just got to really, really want it, and I think they'll do it. I think they'll pull it off.
Is that at the detriment of leaving us out open at the back, though? If we really, really go for it, you know, if we leave stuff at the back, is that a bit dangerous against Salford, a good Salford side?
I don't think so. I think playoff games are different, aren't they? I mean, we know we've got to go for it. We're behind, you know. So, like, I don't know who mentioned it before, but we need that early goal. I think just to calm the nerves of the players and the fans as well, maybe, and push on from there. But I think they've got enough to do it.
Yeah, sound confident.
I am.
Well, good. What do you think about the whole thing in terms of the club, where we're going, where it's heading? As the Johnny Vaughan video, if you've watched it, give you confidence, or has it made you nervous?
Yeah, it did make me a little bit nervous. Just that figure that he put out there, I was like, bleeding hell. And I believe is that just for one stand as well. He was talking about. Is that just the railway stand he was talking about?
Yeah, I think he was talking about linking it. Was that the linkage to the Bagara, extending the Bagara stand, the corner, and the railway stand? I think that's how I took it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of money in it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be great for the club. But yeah, it's a lot of money. It did make me a little bit nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, when you consider, I don't know how many years ago it was, but we were throwing our loose change into buckets for Jim Gannon's wages pot, weren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And now they're talking about 28 million. What did you make of that, Waggy? Let's jump to that before let's scoot around a bit.
I mean, you say everything. Most of it was positive and stuff, but yeah, when he turned around and said 28 million, and as you say, it's not the whole of the extension. That's just like railway end, and I thought it was railway end and connection to the main stand, the corner where the police used to be in that video thing. That's what I got, and I was like, what else is going in there? Is it hotel, recreation area, gym, whatever? To me, that sounds like it's more of a complex rather than just a stand. But that was the only scary thing, because as you say, Stock he's not going to write 28 million off, is he?
No.
He'll want that money back. So that can't just be given. So yeah, that's the only thing that's worrying. Is, I mean, you never know. He might just do one at some point, but you wouldn't expect him to. And there must be somebody that's done the feasibility about it all and made sure that that's the right figures and stuff.
Yeah. What about you, Sam? Have you heard anything on the inside?
No. I mean, for me, it was like the fella's saying. It is a bit nervy, because you'll always have it in the back of your mind that it's Stockport County and that something's going to go wrong, or that we don't get stuff like that. But I think the big thing for me was that he was explaining, yeah, that's the figure, but actually it's not. We're not just ploughing ahead. I think he was maybe illustrating what we're actually being sensible about it. This is how much it's going to cost, but we're showing by not just going full steam ahead and rushing into it this summer that actually there's a plan behind it and that there's reasons for hanging on or pushing it back. Or I think the thing I've heard internally is, they'd want to be seeing the 9,000, 10,000. I mean, we're pretty much there, aren't we? We've seen, I think, he's averaged around 9,000 this season.
Yeah.
I think they do want to be seeing sort of 10,000 every week, or close enough, before going ahead. Which for me, we're basically there, aren't we? So, but yeah, I think the main thing I took away from it is by the fact that they're not just going ahead and ploughing into it right now. I think they've shown they can take a step back and take a wider view of things. So I'm confident. I'm quietly confident. I don't think they've given us any or many reasons to doubt what they do and how they go about it. So at the moment, until we see anything that tells us otherwise, I think it's something to be positive about. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I still can't I still can't see past that. The light on the back of the Cheadland that wasn't in the middle. It wasn't aligned properly. That was a huge mistake that they made. Still can't see past that. I'm joking, obviously. No, I agree with you, Sam. And it feels like I'm cautiously optimistic. It feels like it's considered risk almost, isn't it? Like you say, not jumping ahead and doing it, because it could fall flat on your face. You don't get the crowds, and then you've got all of a sudden 15,000 capacity that you're not filling. But it does sound a lot just to get to 15,000 as well. But maybe it's not in these days. I don't know. And if you the amount of space that's behind the railway end, if you actually look at it from above, which you see the drone footage, you could pack a lot in there, couldn't you? You could get hospitality. You could probably get some sort of gym in there or whatever, something that could be used throughout the week. Away from match days. It's really exciting. Worsley, what do you think we need to do on Saturday to unlock? Who do you think is going to make the difference to unlock this stubborn Salford side?
Depends who plays, doesn't it? I thought Lemon Evans was good. I'd probably start him, to be honest, if I was Charlie. I mean, Stretton on Saturday, it's not his fault, I guess, but they were playing the long balls up to him, and they were trying to, in my opinion, they were kind of trying to mimic the Wootton and Madden play, the long ball. He'll hold it up and then play it off, and it just wasn't working. Like you mentioned before, we were second in the aerial duels. That wasn't working. I'm not saying that Connor's going to win those aerial duels, but I think he just offers a bit more going forward. To be honest, I'd start with him personally.
Yeah, it's a bit more dynamic, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think, and it's tough, isn't it? Because we've played with that target man pretty much all season, while Wootton's been there, and all of a sudden we haven't got that anymore.
Yeah,
and it's like we're almost trying to change the way we play for these final few games, and it's proving a tough ask. Worsley, before you go, and I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put you on the spot now twice. So the first one is, what do you want to throw into the Rezas? For anything to do with football?
Getting the yellow card for taking your shirt off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
go on.
It's passion, that, isn't it? You score a screamer, you take your shirt off, you wave it around in front of your fans. It's to me, that's just that's passion. I don't think you should get booked for that. What's bad about that?
I agree. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I don't even know why they get it in the first place. What do they?
It's pointless, isn't it? Yeah, snap someone in half.
No, fair dues. I like that one. Yeah, we'll throw that in the Rezas. And then finally, score prediction for Saturday.
2-1.
So extra time.
We score in extra time.
Oh, I'm sure I could take that.
Yeah.
I like it. Cheers for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
See you later,
cheers,
boys.
mate. See you later. Bye now.
Bye.
There we go. That was Worsley SCFC. So that went all right, didn't it?
Yeah, that was
good. Nice one. Cheers, Worsley. You can come back on again, mate. Really like that. Yeah, so 2-1 into extra time. What do you reckon? Would you have that or?
I'd have anything that gets us to Wembley.
It.
Yeah,
you'd take it, but I don't think I'd like it. I don't think I don't want extra time. I'd like us to be like, say, win 2-0, 2-0, 3-0, or if they want a goal, then let them have 3-1. We get 3, let them get the consolation
right at the end when it doesn't matter.
Right at the end, yeah, just to make it a little bit nervy.
Yeah, I think Worsley's got a point with Connor Lemonhay-Evans though. He came on against Carlisle, scored, didn't he? I think he came on before that, and in a game before, I can't remember who it was against, scored.
He started against Salford and scored against Salford in the
That's
home
right.
game.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So he's done really well since he come back. I think he could be the one that sort of unlocks it, to be honest. I kind of agree with that because I can't. The performances have been a bit, I'm not say subdued. It's been a bit lackluster, haven't they? For whatever reason. Even there was footage of Dave Challoner saying "fucking crap." I don't know if you saw. I don't know if anyone saw that.
Yeah.
I might retweet that. Because it's just poor decisions and what have you. Connor Lemonhay-Evans just seems like he's got something about him to maybe make the difference. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, I say. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, yeah, you say he turns and goes at players, doesn't he? He's always looking forward. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not there to take the ball and then pass it back or look. He gets the ball, spins, and he's going at them, or he's looking for a forward pass out to the wings or something like that. So as you say, I think definitely he should start. He's done well since he's came back.
Yeah. Just to throw this out there, Sheffield Wednesday are 2-0 up apparently. So the comeback is on. The comeback's on, lads.
Like I said before, though, the home legs, Luton last night, Wednesday tonight, they've both shown it doesn't really matter what the first leg away from home does. If you can get into the away team in your home leg and get on the front foot, and you don't even necessarily. I know what you guys are saying, and obviously the ideal scenario would be a really early goal tomorrow. But if you're on the front foot and you're making it difficult and you're unsettling them, even if you give yourself 20 minutes, half an hour to settle in, as long as you're doing the right things and the crowd are up for it, and and they're keeping the Cheadle end in the game and they're keeping the home fans in the game, you'll get chances. So I think they have shown in the home legs that it's not done and dusted by any stretch.
Yeah, and Challoner has said that as well, hasn't he? They've got to keep us in the game. They've got to keep us sort of entertained, and we'll definitely do our bit. And we've got to go. I'm desperate to go up anyway because Wrexham have already won this league, haven't they? Next season.
Yeah.
So...
Now Sky have dropped Salford. It's Wrexham, isn't it?
Yeah. I've never known anything like it. I'm just a little tiny bit on Wrexham because they're fast becoming the team that.
Oh, you're gonna get clipped. You're gonna get clipped. You're gonna be on Twitter.
Probably, yeah. But they've already won the league. If the Facebook and Twitter accounts are anything to go by, I've never known before a league tier 5 player to write a book about their escapades. That's what Paul Mullins done, hasn't he?
Oh.
And he got an extension to his contract, and that was breaking news on Sky. So, yeah. So I saw you got a lot of traffic on your tweet for that, Sam.
Yeah, thanks a lot to everyone that explained how news works to me, and that the only report on what people want to hear. That was good to know. Good to know. I'm glad that everyone's waiting with bated breath to hear about Paul Mullins' 1-year contract extension. So yeah, I'll take the stick for that.
Love it.
Oh yeah, I said that a few weeks ago. We need to get promoted because I can't be doing with another season with them. They did me head in last year, and they're even worse now.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a love affair to be had there. I think there's a good rivalry to be had. So if we stay down, then we can reignite that, can't we? And with the Notts lads as well. With the Notts County were giving us some as well, weren't they? A bit. So maybe not as much as Wrexham, but definitely were up there. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So
not really sure what to think about Saturday. I'm kind of like ambivalent, really. Personally, obviously, I'm just a bit sort of all relaxed about it because all this news of the ground and what have you, and I just know where we're heading because of the investment. You know, we know where we come from and all that kind of thing. I'm quite happy that even if we don't go up this season, we're probably going to invest in the squad anyway, and probably it's got to be top 3 next season.
Yeah, and it's good to hear that we're ahead of schedule. So we finished 4th in the league and we're ahead of schedule. That's like,
yeah,
excellent. That's really good.
yeah. And I think this is the 9th season that we finished better than the previous season in the pyramid. Do you know what that means, Waggy? You're looking.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to think if it was 9 or 10 years.
No, I think this is the 9th, isn't it?
Right. Okay.
So we'd be on for 10. And when you consider other clubs, and I know, we're not other clubs, but other clubs like, poor Oldham, I think they've been going down for 25 years, haven't they? I don't think they finished in the top half for something like 8-9 years or something of a division. So I consider myself lucky with what Mark has done. And I am still trying to arrange that interview with Mark as well, get him on the podcast. That'll be something to look out for over the summer. Shall we do get in the Rezas?
I'll let Sam go first then.
Yeah, we haven't got a clip for this yet. We're not made one, but we'll get a little transition for it. Right, Sam, you go first. What are you throwing in the Rezas?
So this is anything in football, yeah? Anything across every league.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was going to say about 2, but they're kind of related.
Okay.
Well, pretty much the same thing. It's only fresh in my mind because it happened on the playoffs last night, and it drives me mad every time I see it. When whether it's home fans or it's away fans in that end, when they go mental at the referee for someone's taking a corner and they're trying to suggest that the ball's like an inch or whatever outside of the quadrant, and you just have this sight of like a load of fans in that corner going ballistic, and that to the point where the referee has to walk over, look, and go, "Yeah, you're all good," and then they carry on going ballistic anyway. And I'm just thinking, we're all sat watching the referee walk over to the corner here to check a football is on the white line, and if it isn't, has anyone ever scored a goal because the corner's been taken half an inch outside of where it should be? So the other one was football fans moaning when players steal a couple of yards on throw-ins.
Yeah,
but it kind of goes hand in hand. To be fair, I do flip between it being funny and it just driving me mad. And then the referee has to make a big show of pushing them back a yard, and the throw-ins like on the halfway line. So it really doesn't make any difference to the game, and we all just spend a few minutes watching referees have to push them back or have to move a ball half an inch back inside a quadrant. So yeah,
I'm liking this one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Just about the quadrant thing, I don't think they're ever out of the quadrant, aren't they? Because I think you've got to look at it from the top down, haven't you?
Yeah,
and the ball has to be over the line. So even though it's out, the ball that's touching the grass is outside of the quadrant. The actual width.
It's got to be overhanging. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many people know that. It seems not a lot.
Yeah, not only are they all moaning about it, like I say, this is football. It's not county fans. It's not fans. It's just football. Not only are they moaning about it, it's not even the football that's taking the corner isn't even in the wrong in the first place. And I remember, I don't know why it sticks out, but I remember when in the lockdown season, I think it was. We scored. Ash Palmer scored at the Cheadle end. It was like under Simon Ross towards the back end of that season. I think we were still in with a chance of the title or whatever. And we scored a goal from. It was on BT. We scored a goal from a corner, and I remember like going home, and I think it was Ash Palmer from like a John Rooney corner, and just so many fans tweeting this. The clip was tweeted by BT. The goal. So many fans going, "Oh, that corner's that should have been retaken." And the ball, like you say, is literally overhanging the quadrant. And I'm just like, how are you spending that much time worrying about it? And now you've got me spending that much time worrying about it because it's driving me mental.
There was one last season. I can't remember who it was. There was a corner, the bottom right-hand corner of the Cheadle end. Yeah. And I remember the player had outside of the quadrant and everybody was going, but it looked like, didn't look from where everyone was shouting that the ball was actually in there. It looked as if it was over the line.
They scored from it as well, didn't they?
They scored from it, yeah. They
Yeah.
scored from it, and I'm pretty sure that was
Yeah.
outside the quadrant. I can't remember who it was, but I remember, and everybody was going mental.
Wasn't Barrow at home this season, was it?
I feel like it was Leighton Orient. I think scored. I think Leighton Orient won one.
No, I thought it
from
was
corner.
last season. It was one from last
May have
season.
been, yeah.
I thought, was it Barnet? Barnet at home.
Yeah.
Possibly.
They beat us 2-1 at home, didn't they? And it was under Rusk.
Yeah.
And the second goal, and it was like, is that side? And this is it's a good one this time because it's stoking debate because it's a good one because I often think stuff like that. I mean, we weren't playing well generally anyway. So what I think is, well, whether it was in or outside the quadrant, it doesn't really matter. We're not playing well anyway. We don't deserve to win. All right, we'd have got a draw if that hadn't have happened, and all those ifs and buts. Just get on with it.
And I think the point that I'm trying to make as well is, even regardless of whether it makes a difference to the game or makes a difference to, even if they are like an inch, who cares? Like, have they scored because it's an inch outside? Like, have they scored that corner because it's I mean, like say,
those inches make the difference.
yeah. Like say, it was Barnet at home, so it worked out for the best because we wouldn't have got Dave Chandler otherwise, maybe.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Simon Russ last game,
sliding doors. Yeah. Waggy, what are you throwing in the Rezas?
I'm going to say yellow cards for time wasting.
You're throwing that in the Rezas?
Yeah, because they never get a red. They'll get a yellow card for time wasting and carry on time wasting, and they never get a second yellow.
Right. Yeah, I see what you mean.
So it should be a straight red.
There's no point. Well, it's what's the point of giving them a yellow card for time wasting if you're not going to follow it up when they continue to time waste and then send them off? So it's just go and have a word and say, look, I'm adding this time on or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't see the point of giving them a yellow card if they do then carry on time wasting, and you're not going to give them a red card, because when has anybody ever been given a red card for time wasting? Even if it's like 25 minutes to go and they still carry on time wasting for another 25 minutes.
What if you're on 4 yellows? You're as a player, and you're at risk of missing the next match because you're going to get a yellow for time wasting. You're going to get your ass kicked by the manager, aren't you, for that? So would that not come into play?
Did they think about that? Because if they do get the yellow for time wasting, they've already started time wasting, but they carry on time wasting.
I think I think the World Cup was actually did a good thing with adding the time on. I remember the first couple of group games in the World Cup, everyone was like, what the hell is going on? Like 15 minutes at a time.
15 minutes.
But everyone got used to it. And then I think there was like a real groundswell after the World Cup for it to be implemented in the Premier League and implemented in like the Football League and whatever. I've not got a problem with that. Obviously, I'll say that now. I probably will have a problem with it when County get 12 minutes added on and we're 1-0 up. But add the time on, and don't add the time on and go 4 minutes. Like add 12 minutes on, add 13. Add all those minutes on, and stop the clock. Like literally stop the clock and just add that amount of time on at the end of the game, and it stops time wasting earlier on. And because teams know that they've literally got that amount of time to get through anyway. So I think that worked out well in the World Cup. Yeah.
Here's a comment. John Gerrity. When a team is time wasting and then concede a goal, all the added time should be wiped out. Not sure about that.
Jeopardy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not getting a yellow card, but if they do score, tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I quite like the time wasting element of it. Not when it's happening to us, although it's part of the charm of football, though, isn't it? It's the shithousery of football, and it kind of makes it what it is. It's like the ball not being in the quadrant. Like grown men, it's not just grown men; it's everybody. In fact, Happy Hatter said that's her about the ball out the quadrant. She's shouting at corner takers. It just all adds to the charm of it. What about this one? Dunk back. 5 mins in a sin bin for time wasting.
How
Are
would
they
you
not
define?
wasting more time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And how would you define
interpretation
it,
then.
though?
How long,
Yeah.
how long does it take for him to get to the sin bin?
Can you imagine, like, and I know, we all hope Will Collins back on Saturday, but can you imagine a referee deeming Will Collins to be time wasting when he gets stretchered off with a potential broken leg and then gets up and runs across the pitch at half time? So hang on a minute, in the sin bin.
Oh, I like it. Right, we've got a guest to come on. We've got Phil Lloyd, who long time listener. I'm surprised he's not been on the podcast earlier. Actually, he's been listening for years. Don't know why we're not had you on. We'll get him out, see what he thinks. Hey, Phil.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You all right?
Right. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. I've not been on because you've not asked me yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know why. I don't know why I've not. To be honest, I see you nearly every match.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to say?
Just about Saturday, really. I'm surprisingly relaxed about the whole thing, to be honest.
In what way? In terms of like holistically thinking, because you know what where we're heading, or because you just think we'll beat them, or
if it's not this season, it'll more than likely be next season. You know, obviously, I'd love it to be this season. I'm on a trip to Wembley, but if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world, is it?
No, it isn't. No. And you wouldn't think that the way some people go on about it.
No. And like there's some will on Saturday, if it's not going our way.
Yeah, there'll be moans and groans, won't they? Who do you think's the who do you think's going to be the key player on Saturday?
For us, I think Evans, to be honest, because he's looked good the last few games.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was a standout on Saturday. He just has that more attacking thrust, like you've saying before.
Yeah. He reminds me of, you know, when we had Elliot Newby?
Yeah.
And he was like the only one that would turn and turn and go in the direction of the opposition goal at that time.
And just run at a fullback as well and put the fullback under pressure.
Yeah.
Sort of play you need that if you get a fullback, but just keep giving the ball, just let him run at him because obviously he can't be touched then.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I think we're all unanimous in that. Oh, Sam, who do you think's the key on Saturday? Do you think it's Evans as well, or?
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? I think you could even go Tanto Alafi because when he came on, he had a hand in just making us look more lively, although we didn't look much more lively, but still. And if he's been done good by that half an hour that he had, and he's come through it all right, and he's trained this week, and he starts, Alafi and started at Orient, and I know people have got their opinions on Orient away with whether they were on the beach or on the piss or both. But still, them two started as a front two when they were in that first half. They were dragging the Orient defence all over the place, and I think you mentioned earlier, Russ, like a different way of playing without Wootton. That was our different way of playing, getting the front two peeling off the defenders, dragging the centre halves wide, winning throw-ins high up, turnovers high up, pace, and those two as a two looked quite like very lively. And I think the same again I think it was Carlisle away. Looked good, had a few chances. Alafi had a big chance in the second half at Carlisle. So I think I would say Evans, but if Alafi's come through last Saturday, he could make a real difference as well.
Yeah, Alafi, I've been impressed by Alafi. I could see the progress he's making, probably from, settling in, moving house, probably, settling in, new surroundings, that kind of thing. He's starting. The Carlisle match for me was probably one where I thought, bloody hell, yeah, he's going to be a player in. So
he was unlucky with his chance, wasn't it? The keeper made a great save.
Yeah, was it the 7'4" keeper, whatever he was? He got got his hand to it, didn't he? That surprisingly was all the both goals went over him. Weirdly enough,
header from Evans, the shortest player on the pitch.
Yeah. Did you see the Johnny Vaughan video, Phil? What did you make of that?
Yeah. Just echoing what you said before, really, about the figures that have been bandied around for the expansion. Is you hear about the money that's been put in already, and then you think that's like 4 times what's gone in to get the stand belt. a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah, it is.
But it's one of those, it got to speculate to accumulate, really. If we get in the crowds, well, then we're going to need to expand because to get more people in.
Yeah. And I guess if you get outside investment and they have to sponsor it and things like that, it doesn't. That's why you get all these stands that are named after companies and what have you, because they're sponsored.
Yeah. I don't think I'd like the whole ground being named after a sponsor, but a stand is all right.
Yeah. Well, I don't give the grounds their sponsor name anyway. It's still Layer Road to me, Brisbane Road, and all the old names that I learned by heart in year 10 at school.
It's like it's still the Reebok up near me because obviously I'm Bolton way. That's forever known, the Reebok round here.
Yeah, which that's a shit one though, isn't it? Because that was built as the Reebok.
It was built as a sponsor,
but
nobody's ever thought of giving it its proper name, whatever it is this week.
Yeah, Uniball, whatever. Phil, what do you want to chuck in the Rezas?
For me, it was I was watching the Madrid City game last week, and it's when a player gets fouled and they turn to the referee and wave an imaginary card at him. I hate that, and for me, they should get the booking. It's one of those things that just winds me up every time I see it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna double down on that and tell you my getting the Rezas for this week, which is, again, it's a specific player, and I've got one to do every week, so I'm sort of working my way through all these. So mine is Bruno Fernandes. Because
is he going next to the poster again? Will we tie him to the poster? Wasn't that Dave Philbin last week?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, he's definitely going in the Rezas with the concrete blocks strapped to his feet.
Boots, yeah,
concrete boots. Because he does that, doesn't he? He's the most whingiest player ever. He'll do the card thing. We're trying to get referees to start at a young age to improve the refereeing situation in the country and probably in the world, to be honest. Yet he's the first one as the captain of the club to be giving it the ref every single, and he just moans all the time, and he just goes over too easily all the time and rolls around.
He's not leading by example, is he? That's the thing with him.
No. And I don't like City or United, but when you look at City's team, Jack Grealish probably is the only one that does that. But none of the others do it. They all get up and get on with it, don't they? In City's team, and there's lots of players that do that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's other players that do it. Dean Lewington's another one. I think if you watched last week, you'll know that I hate. Dean Lewington as well.
Yeah, I know you don't like him. Not on your Christmas card list at all, is it? That one?
No, not at all. So my getting the Rezas is Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to disagree or agree with me on that.
No, I'm 100% with you on that one.
Yeah,
he's a little rat.
He's a little.
He's a rat.
He is. He's horrible. But do you know what? He epitomises Man United, doesn't he? He's at the right club for how he plays and what he is. Which it does annoy me when players who are like go to Man United. There haven't been many over the years, but yeah. So that's my getting the Rezas. There we go.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah, good stuff. Cheers, Phil. Cheers for coming on.
No problem. I know that I'll see you in the courtyard on Saturday.
Will
see you in the courtyard.
See you in the courtyard, mate. See you later.
Yeah.
Cheers, bud.
See you later. Right, bye.
Well, I think this getting the guests, having a phone in's worked really, really well.
Yeah,
it has. Yeah.
Thanks for your cooperation.
I'll give you a write up afterwards.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, leave a review, won't you? Leave a review.
I'll give you an appraisal.
Right. I think we could probably start to think about wrapping it up. Sam, I did want to ask you before you go though. When was the last time you had a drink at a football match? Because you probably don't.
We're always out after the game. Yeah.
No, I mean like yeah. I mean like
fair,
before the match and stuff.
I had before the Hartlepool game. I had to have a shandy. I had to settle. I had actually had a few nerves. I've been saying in the build to the Hartlepool game that it was fine and I wasn't nervous, which I wasn't. But then, but yeah, on the day, I think I talked myself into us doing it. So I think the nerves started to build. But yeah, in terms of after games, like every home game, we'll get across to the Albert and Sometimes it goes better than others, but yeah. I think you've had a question as well, Ross, on the chat from Ian. I don't know if that's for you or I think he's actually mentioned it's for all of us. I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah. What question for all? Would you rather go out of the playoffs on Saturday or lose in the final? Which do you think is worse? It's got to be losing the final for me. That's got to be worse.
Yeah, I was having this chat with a City fan the other day. He was chatting about last night, ahead of last night, and he said he was one of those that would be, I'd rather lose in the semi-final. And I saw a Sunderland fan saying the same about when they got knocked out last night. But if you go along with that, then you'll never win. You'll never win a final because you'll just always lose in semi-finals because you're not going to know until you get there.
Yeah.
And I get it. But it's easy for me to say potentially because the only time I've been to Wembley with County, we've won, so I've not had to suffer those 4 in the 90s. But I mean, you've got to be there. You've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? So I get the argument, but I think it would. I think you'd probably rather lose at Wembley because losing the final because once you're in a 90-minute game, it can go either way, and you've got to be there. But I think losing in the semi-final. I remember losing the Chorley playoff in the Conference North, so that was a quarter-final essentially.
Yeah,
and I just felt like awful on the back of that. Obviously, it all worked out because we went and won the title the next season, but I would have loved to have gone on and got to the final. If we then got beat in the final, it is what it is, as I say.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of it depends on your expectations. So when we lost to Chorley, I wasn't expecting us to go to the final and win it anyway, because of where we were, in our progression at the time. Same with Hartlepool as well. I thought it was just a step too far, and Hartlepool did a number on us. I don't know about this season. I don't know because I said I don't know 9 weeks ago. I kind of agree with Ben Walker. I thought we'd get to the playoffs and go out. So I'd rather do that this season in the semis than get to the final and go out based on that. But I know what you mean. I think if you're favourites to do it, say if we were favourites to go up, weren't we? But it didn't quite pan out that way. If we'd have, I don't know, if we'd have been in the top 3 all season and then just dropped into 4th on the last day and then not gone up in the final, that's the worst thing ever. I'd rather just go out in the semis and not have to go through that.
I do get the argument, but I just another point on for me why you'd rather go to the final is you want on Saturday you want to be celebrating that we've got to Wembley. You want you want to be going to work next week, making your plans to travel down to Wembley, and you want the build up and the excitement of maybe not the excitement of Wembley itself, but of the day and of the final and of meeting your mates down there or doing whatever you're doing. You want all that and people in work talking to you about County and the build up to it. And that's what football is about, and you get the excitement of. I remember in 2008, everyone was on the pitch when we won the semi-final, and the players and Jim Gannon were in the stands with the Wembley shirts and stuff. That that's part of it, isn't it? And okay, we could have gone on and lost that final, but you want those days celebrating, don't you? We all want to be in the Albert or on Castle Street on Saturday night, having a few pints because we've made it. So
yeah. And I guess as well, I'm thinking back to what I just said. I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm treating.
Well, I'm treating. Go out to Salford.
Well, that's.
We don't want to see 4,000 fans in Wembley, do we?
No, but that's not really in me thinking. Whoever it is, I'm just trying to think. Well, I'm here, like deciding almost that I don't want to go to Wembley, depending on expectation. Of course, we want to go to Wembley. Everybody wants to go to Wembley, don't they?
Yeah. Why not? I'd rather lose in the final than the semi-final every time.
Because
you've made it. You got your day out. Unless you like your city or whatever, where you're going every year, then it's for people like us. It's special. It's a special day out.
Yeah,
I think it's just like a typical county thing of like you're protecting yourself by thinking, "Oh, we're going to lose, so I'd rather get it over with," which I get. But like we're saying, you want the day out. You want the week before, the build up, knowing that we're going and all that.
And for the players as well. A lot of the lower league teams, not a lot of them are ever going to walk out at Wembley. So it's it's just as good a day out for them as it is for us.
Yeah, and not many teams get to go to the not many players get to go. I'm just thinking about it now. From between '94 and 2008, we never obviously went to Wembley, did we?
No.
And we've not been since, which has been 15 years. So yeah, no, I do want to get to Wembley. Yeah, I've changed my mind. Fuck expectations.
It's yeah, and that argument I always think last season, and I'm talking about the FA Trophy, so it's not even about what you win when you get to Wembley. But if you think about how we lost in the semi-final last season, that feeling of it being at Wrexham and how we won it in the last minute, that was a worse feeling than Wembley for me ever would have been if we lost at Wembley. So it can feel just as bad or worse if we lose in the 92nd minute on Saturday. That'll feel worse than anyone would feel potentially losing at Wembley, or at least getting to Wembley and seeing how it pans out.
Yeah. No, it's good. Good point you're making. Yeah. Here's me scoffing at going to Wembley, like we go every week.
Just because you can't go, that's all it is. Isn't it? You're just being spiteful.
Yeah,
I have stayed clear of saying this, but I'm going to say it.
Ooh.
If we lose in the semi-final, and this isn't being bitter or whatever, if we lose, I do want the aesthetic of Salford against Bradford in the final, because I just think it'll be hilarious to see.
Hilarious, yeah.
It's just going to look like, but it's just going to be bullying. It's going to be like 50,000 fans all looking at like 2,000 blokes sat behind the goal. It's just
United.
So if we do lose on Saturday, I want to see that.
Yeah. But even if it's Carlisle, though, Carlisle will take a lot, won't they? Not as many as Bradford, obviously, but they'll take a lot. Because they're two proper clubs, aren't they? Not manufactured tin pottery.
Tin pots.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, let's finish on score predictions for Saturday, and then we'll wrap it up. What we saying? Waggy, you go first, mate.
3-0.
Oh, I love that. It's confident. Get your score predictions in the comments. Let's see what everybody else thinks. Sam, what are you going for?
I think we can. I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I think I'll go 1-0, 90 minutes, 2-0 extra time.
Nice. Are we going to go scorers as well? Do you want to go scorers?
Tanto.
Come on, yes.
I think he's back in. Back in. So I think if he starts, I can see him bagging, and then extra time, I think they'll be pushing and we seal it on the break. Maybe give it to Connor Evans. Let's let Connor Evans get one.
Yeah,
Tanto,
like
Rydell, and Horsefall.
Oh, Horsefall. Not scored.
Yeah.
Not scored many, considering how many he scored for Northampton, has he?
He's due
set pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, it's set piece.
Yeah, I like it. We've got 2-0, 3-0, 2-0. Phil Lloyd has just been on before, Evans and Tanto. Yeah, like it. Quick one from Rick Hinks. He said Sam's hairstyle needs to get in the Rezas for him.
I saw that, and I'm not biting because Rick will be on hand to fix any press box issues on Saturday. So I'm not biting. Otherwise, I'll end up.
I like it.
I'll end up literally in the Rezas.
Tomcats Sports Village. I love the name, mate. Oh no, Tomcat Sports Vids. I'm liking that. Liking the name, mate. Tanto first goal. Hinchliffe second goal. 90+6.
90+6.
How does that work then? Because surely Hinchliffe goes up when we're losing. He don't go up when we're winning or when it's a draw, does he? You don't go up in a keeper doesn't go up in the regulation.
Yeah, if you go into extra time, I suppose. Yeah,
yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Maybe it means from a goal kick. Or Dave Challen did actually say to us last week that he, in his managerial career, he has had a goalkeeper score for him in the playoffs and score against him in the playoffs.
Oh,
so
that's a good one.
Why not?
Yeah. Do you know, there's my mate who sits near me, Edgy, he's all season, and probably even seasons before as well, he's always saying, why don't Inchliff just shoot sometimes? Keep us off his line.
I think Ben actually is, when I say about Chalmers, I think Ben is the one that scored for him for Fylde.
Right.
And it was like 60 yards, it was from like a free kick inside his own half or something. So yeah, he did. It was like Conference North or the one below the Conference North.
Right.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Why
we
not?
saw his penalty against Chesterfield in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nearly took the net off, didn't he? Yeah.
I know that he's actually asked in the past if he can go on pens for us.
Really?
Ben Hitchcliffe. Yeah. I think the answer was, something along the lines of, if you hit the crossbar, imagine Ben hitting the crossbar, it's either going to break or it's going to bounce back and land in our own net.
Yeah.
So I think we don't want the risk.
And probably break the crossbar as well.
Yeah. Good stuff. Right, gents, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
And Waggy, see you Saturday in the courtyard.
Yep. Just
Sam,
a quick shout to.
Oh,
where are we going?
Oh yeah,
that's the programme of Gazendo. Excuse me, from my first ever game at Stockport County in 1990. Got to give it to me on the Hartlepool game. So shout out to Gazendo.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, good. And we had a bit of a browse through it when you showed it me. It was good. Yeah. Good little program. Yeah. So if Gazendo can sort anybody else out with programs from their first game, just get into contact with Gazendo. I'm sure he'll he'll sort you out.
Yeah, go through his box.
Nice one. Before I go, please do like and subscribe and share the video and rate and review us, whatever podcast player you are listening to us on. The audio of this will be live tomorrow for non-patrons and up tonight for patrons. And yes, and don't forget App to Tap. That's APP2TAP. Get that installed before Saturday and get yourself into that draw. And yeah, so I will see you all soon. Cheers for coming on, boys, and see you later.
See you Saturday.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Nice, like it.
This episode of the Scarf Bagara War was written, recorded and produced by Russ Johnson and Nick Lee. The music on the opening titles was produced by Dan Johnson. Subscribe wherever you get your content, as well as finding out how to join the TSBW fan club. Check out the links in the description or go to allthews scarfbagarawar.co.uk.